Hey class, it's Miss Matson, and we have been talking about habitats for quite a while now, so I thought we would do something fun with that to just show what we've learned. And it's simple, but I thought I'd introduce something to you called coding, and we're going to use a program called Scratch, and we're going to use this simple Scratch program to create a habitat. Um, so the way we're going to get things started is we're going to get you going to Scratch. So I'm going to just click here. This is the icon or the label, I guess you can say, for Scratch. And once we get here, or the logo, that's what I want to call it, logo for Scratch. We're going to click this button for Create. And it is getting it loaded. And so when you create and open up a brand new program with Scratch, you're going to get this screen. And you have this cat starting off with this white background. So the first thing I want you to do is create a name for your project. So I would put your name and the name and just say habitat. So my name's Mrs. Matson, and I'm going to call this habitat. And so I know that this is the Habitat project. So I want you to put your name and write Habitat so I know what this is for. And so how we're going to start, and I just thought this would be a fun way to show habitats and what you are learning and to also learn a little something about coding. So how we're going to get started. The first thing we're going to do is we need a background. And your job with this, with your background, is to choose a habitat from the options they have. Um, so I'm going to show you how to do that now. So what you're going to do down here at the bottom, you see this white box, which is your background, and this guy, which is called a sprite. So I'm going to click on this background. So the way we're going to change that is go to this place called backdrops. And when you click on there, it shows you just a plain background. Now you have lots of options to do with this. You can do all different kinds with it, different kinds of things, make things, change colors. I'm not going to go into that right now because I just want to show you how to do this simple program. So what you're going to do is go to this place, and it says when you hover over it, create or choose backdrop from library. I'm going to click on that. And so what it does is it has all kinds of preloaded backdrops. This is all of them. I'm just going to scroll through so you can take a quick look and see what all the different kinds of options they have. I see, different um, cityscapes, water, forest, flowers. There's just all different kinds of things. There's a party one. Looks like a pool, a couple schools. There's just lots and lots of them. So, but we are looking for something particular. So over here on the side, they have categories and they also have themes. So under categories, you have indoors, outdoors, or other. We could go to others, but let's take a look at themes. They have castle, city, flying, holiday music. Oh, and look, there's nature. Since we're talking habitats and what it's like outdoors, that we would want to go to nature. So these are all backdrops dealing with nature. And as you look through here, you will see that they have several that fit some of the habitats we've learned. Like right here, we have the desert. And if you go through, there's the forest. We have like we have another desert here. There's a lake with the forest and the water. Um, we have what could be like the Arctic habitat right here. Um, there's more water and forest and rocks which you could use. There's a couple underwater ones for maybe fresh water here, or we have the ocean here. Um, and I think there's another one that you could possibly use for woods. You have a lot of options to choose from for your habitat. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one and show you what I want you to do. And I want to go for this guy right here. I like this underwater one. So I'm going to click it, and so it's highlighted. Then I'm going to hit OK, and it'll load that in there for me. There we go. So And so we have our ocean backdrop, and that's going to be the first part. So for 5 points, you have to pick a proper habitat backdrop. So here's my little sprite guide. Now for the next part of this is, I'm going to go back here. For the next part of this is I want you to pick 2 animals that you would find in your habitat. So I'm going to click on our sprite guy. I don't want him. I'm going to want to get rid of this guy because you would not find a cat in the ocean. So how I'm going to get rid of him is if you go up here and you see these scissors and you hover, it says delete. So I'm going to click on there. I'm going to go down to this sprite and click him, and he goes away. So now I need to find 2 animals to put into my habitat. And look, right here it says new sprite. I'm going to click on here. And just like with the backdrop, you have all kinds of options. I'll scroll through really quick. So you can see some of the things you will find as sprites and objects and things you can use. But if you look under here, under categories, you'll see there's all kinds like themes and but right now, animals, because that fits what we want. And as you can see, there's a lot of animals you can choose from that would fit a habitat. Here's 2 different polar bears, there's a crab, we've got, let's see here, some doves, birds, ducks, there's an elephant, fish, a frog, a fox, lion, monkeys, a mouse, penguins. So there's a squirrel. There's plenty to choose from that would fit your habitat. But I want to go, since I'm in the ocean habitat, I love the octopus. So I'm going to choose the octopus and load that in. See how quick we get loaded in there. There we go, quick. And she saved, and she is in. So there is my octopus in there, but I need 1 more ocean animal. So I'm going to go back to sprites, and I'm going to add another one. Back to animals. And I was looking at that shark at the bottom. I'm going to grab that shark and add that too. There we go. And hit OK. And we'll get our shark. And there we go. And I don't want them right on top of each other. There we go. So, like I said, you get 5 points for choosing the right habitat. Then you get 10 points total, 5 each for choosing 2 animals you would find in that habitat. So now that we have our habitat and animals, the next job you have to do is each animal has to tell me 2 things. It has to tell me what kind of animal they are and what habitat they live in. And there's a couple things we'll do to make that happen. And then the next part of this is to make your animals have motion, to move. So the first thing we're going to do is get your animals to say something. So you always need to start your event or start off your program. And in this case, what we're going to do is when we click on our sprite. So that's going to be my first one. A lot of times you hit this flag. The flag is typically your start button, and of course the stop sign is your stop button. So a lot of times that is used when you want to start running a program. Right now in this case, because you want your sprite to say something or your animals to say something, we're going to have them be clicked. So that's where we're going to start. Next, we have to do something called creating a variable. So a variable is the options that change. And the way we're going to do this is you have to go to this button called data. And then you see this where it says make a variable. And I have to give my variable a name. I'm just going to call it, I think, just choice, because we're just going to have 2 choices. And it's going to be for both sprites. And there we go. And then it gives you some options to work with that. And then it shows this choice button up here, over here to the side. And I want to get rid of that. I don't want that to be seen. I just have to unclick that box there. Now I have to have something to use this choice with. So I have to go to Control, and I have to do, first, actually, let me go back to data. What I need to do right now is I need to set my choice. So I'm going to set that right here. And I have to do something since I'm working with choice. I have to put my variable options in here. So this is what I do next, is go to operation. And this gives you different choices of what you can do. What I'm going to pick is pick random 1 to 10. And if you pull it over and hover it over the box, it clicks right in there. So remember, there's going to be 2 choices I want you to make. The first, well, 2 things I want your animal to say. One, what kind of animal it is, and what habitat they live in. So there's just going to be 2, 1 of 2. I'm going to change that to 2. So here's what you do to get your animal to talk. We're going to do what's called an if-then statement. So we have forever loop, repeat, and this is kind of like a loop you would do. So I'm going to do this right here. We're going to do if-then. So I'm going to pick again. I need to fill in my box, my choices. So I'm going to go back to operating. In this case, you're going to use this guy here, where it's a box. You're going to put your choice, and then what variable you want it to have, which is going to be 1 or 2. If you take this guy, you see he fits perfect right there. So in the first box, we're going to do choice, the choice block. And remember, we get that over here, data. Grab that guy, and look, fits right in there. So one of 2 things I want my octopus to say. So I'm going to say this is the first option. Now the way we get to put in what we want our octopus to say is we go here and we have options on what for them to say. And I picked this under looks. So I'm going to pick this first one. Put it right in there. And I want my octopus to say, hi, I am an octopus. There we go. S. There we go. Hi, I am an octopus. And so there we go. So let's give this a try, because the way you work it is you click on your sprite. Let's see. And there we go. Hi, I am an octopus. So that works. So, but we also need to tell us one other thing. So we're going to basically repeat this whole thing. Do another if then. Then go get another operation here. Oops, let me get that in there. Go back to data, get my choice. And this is going to be the second thing I want my octopus to say. Go back to looks. I'm going to get the same thing here again. And this time I want my octopus to tell me where it lives. I live in the ocean. There we go. So let's give it a try to see if this will work. Might take a minute to get. So hi, I'm an octopus. See if we can get it loaded up. I live in the ocean. So there we go. And those are the 2 things I want you to say. Is your animal to say what it is and where it lives. And I want both animals to do that. So there we go. That's the first part of your project, and this is basically how you would lay it out to set up your first program or your first set of codes. Your next job is to make your animal move. And this is a totally different operation. So it's not going to be attached to this one. It's going to be separate, but still for under this sprite. We're going to go back to events. This time, we're going to start by clicking whenever we click the green flag. So that's all we're going to do there. And then we have to go back to a control. So this time, I think you have different options. You can do a repeat where we just have it do a motion for however many times they tell it to do. You can have it keep the motion going forever, and then you have your if-thens again. But this time, I think for me, I just want my octopus to move on a consistent basis, move just in place. So I'm going to do a forever, what's called a forever loop. Now, something I didn't show you is when you have your sprite, they have what's called different costumes. So I'm highlighted here with my octopus. I click here for costumes, and look, I have 2 choices. So if I clicked on them one at a time, it makes my octopus look like she's moving, just like that. So This is all we're going to do is to get her to change costumes. So we're going to go back to scripts, and we're here. So we have a forever loop. So now I want her to switch costumes right here. So I'm going to go to switch costume and get right in there. And if you notice, and I'm sure you've noticed, everything fits together kind of like a puzzle. And by the way, it's really easy to take pieces apart too. So I can just put them back together. The way you get rid of something is you just slide it over to the side and it goes away. But I want to go back to switch costume to costume B. And look, she just changed. So let's see if I click on her or hit the start button. Not doing anything, she's just in one position. So let's try with switching to the next costume. Go over here, we want to go back to costume A. There we go. So now I'm going to hit the stop button. Now let's hit start. She is not doing anything. And there's a reason why, because it says to switch forever, but I'm not giving it enough to work with. What you need to put in here is something called a wait. I'm going to put that in there. Oh, now she keeps hopping there. I don't know if you saw the flicker, but it like waits a second and flickers back. So I need another wait after my other one. And look at that. Now my octopus is moving. So let me hit stop. So now if I hit the green arrow, my octopus starts moving. And then I can click on my octopus. Hi, I am an octopus. And I live in the ocean. And so this is basically what I want you to do with your simple coding habitat project. So you would also go back and we would go to your next animal and repeat the whole same process. You would do how you would get it set up to say what animal it is, what habitat it lives in, and then the same process to get it to move. In this case, for my shark, its costumes, there's actually 3 of them. So it actually looks like if I did it, I could get it to eat, like open up like it's going to eat something. But in this case, I have a nice shark, and I do not want my shark to eat my octopus, so I think I'm just going to use A and B. Now, I'm not going to go through and do all this for you again because you saw how to do it with the octopus and with their script. So you would do the same kind of script for your shark. So that is basically what I want you to do for your project. Be creative, have fun with it. The way the grading will work is you will, for your habitat background, you get 5 points. For your 2 animals that live in the habitat, you get 5 points for each of those. Then each animal needs to say what habitat it's in, and then and also where they live, and that is going to be 10 points, and then another 5 points for you if you have your animal moving. So that's your project. If you have any questions, please let me know. We will be working on this on computer time, and I will help you guys out with anything you need help with. But it's a lot of fun, and I think you'll see how simple it is once you get used to working with the program. All right, guys, thanks.